that he could move and just change the game. His hands were so big, so he would be dribbling and he would just palm it off the dribble.
Welcome to Wired to the Game. What's up, y'all? Y'all are wired in with the homie EJ. Today's guest is a Woodrow Wilson Hall of Famer, one-time registered Herald Player of the Year. He played for Indiana University of Pennsylvania, where he was the first team All MSAC, two-time conference champion. He is now his own. He now has his own AAU team that is making a big splash so far, as well as helping youth players level their game up and get it to the next level. The legend Bryce Radford.
My boy, happy to be here, bro. I appreciate you for having me.
Hey man, thank you. All right, so Bryce, one of your notable games from high school is probably that 50-point game you had against First Love.
Yeah, bro. That it's funny. That's the first thing you mentioned, bro. I swear, I've done a lot of cool things. I've been super blessed with a lot of things I've done, and I promise you, that's the first thing that anybody around Beckley, West Virginia, or Southern West Virginia as a whole mentions is that game.
Man, so what was that mentality going into that game?
So funny story. I was not highly recruited, and this team was ranked 13th in the country. My dad was actually out of town, and their point guard had some offers from like Richmond. He ended up going to Richmond. They had like six or seven Division I guys, and it was really just kind of prove a point more than anything, win the game, which we didn't end up winning, but um, just prove a point, make it known what I can do at a high level and that kind of thing. And man, God bless me in an incredible way that game. Obviously, 41 points in the first half, and it was a cool experience, man. My dad was actually at a basketball tournament with my little brother, so he didn't even get to see it. And my
Dang.
dad was my trainer growing up and everything, so he was listening to it on the radio. Shout out to Fred Persinger, man. He's the voice of Beckley, and he does a great job. So he got to listen to it and everything. So it was pretty cool.
Man, all right. So when that first shot went in, bro, how'd you feel? Like you knew you was gonna go off after that first shot went in, or was it just like a thing
No,
progressing?
I was struggling, bro. If you go back and watch the film's on YouTube. I made my first shot with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. That's the first shot I made. I ended up with 17 in the first quarter. So I had 17 in 2 minutes. After the first quarter, I kind of got in like my rhythm and going. So I had 17 in the first quarter and then ended with 41 in the second, or at the end of the first half. So
Man, that's insane. 41 in the first half, 17 in literally 2 minutes in the first quarter. That's crazy. It's like did Coach Kid tell you he was like, "Hey Bryce, you're at 41," or did you? Was it like you just knew at the end of the game?
man, you must not. You ever talk to Coach Kidd?
Nah.
He would never say anything like that. Heck no, he didn't say that. Nobody knew. I didn't know I had broke any kind of record until Fred Persinger said it over the mic after I made the free throw that broke the record. I had no idea.
Man, that's insane. All right, so all right, so besides dropping that 50-point game, what was the most exciting part of your career at Woodrow?
Exciting part of my career at Woodrow. Um, man, I'm going to the state tournament my junior year with all my best friends, man. That was pretty cool. Eddie Christian, Mikey Penn, Danny Bickey. Um, Ben Gilliam, all them guys, man. We had a pretty good team. But I'll tell you what was the coolest thing, bro, was when I came back from Oak Hill Academy and I announced that I was going to Woodrow. Obviously, my dad's a coach at Shady. So on one side of the county, everybody loved me, and it was the coolest thing ever, and that kind of thing, and all the Beckley people. On the flip side of that, on the Shady side, they absolutely despised me. And man, my car got keyed, my house got paintballed, my car got egged, and the way Isaiah Francis, Tariq Payne, Courtney Walton, Breland Walton, and all them took me in was second to none. And the way they just had my back, man, we'd go to games knowing, and we walk in, I would get booed, they would get booed just with the local animosity of the whole situation and everything, and the way they just had my back, and the way everybody from Woodrow treated me, man, it was like second to none. So, really going to the state tournament, and then that first That first game in Beckley against Tays Valley Prep, my first game ever at Woodrow, was a really, really cool memory. It was packed out at the Armory, playing at prep school. We ended up winning in overtime. And I didn't really know if I was going to get to play a lot because I had only had my 7 practices. And we had practiced a couple times a day for me to get those practices in. And I ended up going in with, I think, 6 minutes left in the first quarter. I didn't start or anything. They put me in with 6 minutes left in the first quarter, and I didn't think I was going to get to play a lot because I didn't know the plays or anything. And I never went back out of the game. So,
Sounds like you did amazing that game, pretty much.
I can't even remember my stats from that game. Honestly, I played decent, man. But honestly, I was so nervous coming back home, playing in front of my family. Everybody's hyping it up to be like someone I really wasn't. And like at that point, I was not a game changer in the game. I was a good shooter. I was a small white kid, so like everybody was hyping it up to as this like big time person came in, and like I was good and did a lot of stuff in like middle school and stuff that made people think that, but it wasn't anything special. And at that age, you're kind of like you got to live up to the hype. You're worried about all that outside noise and stuff like that. And looking back, I got kind of caught up in that, which not in a bad way. It was cool, but I just felt like I had some expectations set on my name that I didn't really know how to deal with.
I understand that. I understand that. All right, so did you play AU like growing up?
Oh yeah, yeah, big time AAU. My AAU coach was Gil Johnson. His son is Cam Johnson, and just signed the $98 million contract for the Brooklyn Nets, man. So
That's
pretty
insane.
cool.
All right, so playing the AAU or high school, who was the toughest team you think you went against?
Well, when I was at Oak Hill Academy, my teammates were Oliver Lynch Daniels. He ended up going to Colgate. Harry Giles was the #1 player in the whole entire country, went to Duke. Matt Coleman, one of the top point guards in the country, went to Texas. Devontae Shuler went to Ole Miss. Lindell Wigington went to Iowa State. Braxton Key went to UVA, won a national championship. Mario Kegler went to Baylor. Um, Hadim Sy went to Virginia Tech. Um, or I could go on and on with the players I played with at Oak Hill Academy, man. Some of the pickup games that we had at Oak Hill Academy. I played against Quinn Cook, that played at Duke, won a national championship, played on the Lakers and the Warriors. I played against the Martin twins, Caleb and Cody Martin. Both of them are starting in the league now. Um, the list goes on and on. But as far as AAU, man, that's a good one. I wish you'd asked me that before, and I'd have thought about it. Um, I don't know, bro. I can't even tell you one like big time. We went to some big time tournaments, and but I'm definitely gonna say the craziest person I played against, and it was just like in practice and stuff, man. Harry Giles before he tore his ACL and had all those injuries, man. The way that he could move and just change the game, his hands were so big, so he would be dribbling and he would just palm it off the dribble. Obviously, #1 player in the country, committed to Duke and everything like that, man. So, Harry Giles is definitely the best player I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes, and just getting to watch him, how he worked and prepared. And I talk about the expectations that I had, man. Every gym we'd go in, it would be sold out, lined, people wanting autographs from him, and all this stuff. Every college coach in the country's there to watch him every practice before he committed. It was an insane thing to see as a ninth grader, coming from Beckley, West Virginia. You just don't see things like that.
Yeah, that's insane. So how was the experience at Oak Hill Academy?
Um, It was good, man. I stayed injured the whole time. I broke my wrist, hurt my ankle really bad my second year. I actually came home. I transferred back home halfway on Christmas break of my sophomore year. So it was like middle of the year. That's why I had to get in those practices at Woodrow. But it taught me how to be a professional because you're surrounded by professionals.
Mm.
Like 12 of the guys on our team, I think 8 of them are in the NBA right now. And the other ones, I'm doing what I'm doing. Matt Coleman's in Canada playing professional basketball. Mario Kegler's overseas playing professional basketball. Braxton Keys in the G League just got called up to the NBA actually earlier this week. So like guys were literally you have a 5 a.m. workout, you go to class, and there's nothing to do at Oak Hill other than school and basketball. You're in the number one Christmas tree producing county in the United States. So you don't have no cell phone service. You're not even allowed to have your phone. Girls are on this side, boys are on this side. Um, all you have is basketball and school. So you really are disciplined. You're getting up early, you're getting into the gym, you're getting extra shots up after your practice, you're lifting a bunch. Like you learn how to work like a really big time college athlete or pro athlete because most of them, they know I mean, you look at the mock drafts from back then, every single one of those guys was on the mock draft. So you just learn how to work like a pro, really.
So you think that's where you got your mentality from, kind of?
I got my mentality from my dad, but what made me realize the little stuff, my dad didn't play in the NBA, obviously, or anything like that. He was so hard on me when I was a kid and instilled this just kind of dog mentality. And if you want to be good at anything, you're going to have to outwork people. You don't have the God given gifts of just the size and the athleticism and all that kind of stuff. So you just have to be a dog and outwork everybody to make up for that kind of stuff. My dad instilled that at me at a super young age. If I tell you my schedule when I was in middle school, you would think me and my dad were crazy people. But um, they taught me it taught me how to compete. Those guys come into practice and they compete against each other every single day, and that's the difference between high school and college to me is the way people compete because at the end of the day there's always somebody that's coming in to take your spot in the college atmosphere. In the high school atmosphere, it's really more of like you know that you're going to start, you know who's at the school, you know this and that kind of thing. So people don't really get to compete like that at the normal like public school, normal in West Virginia. But Oak Hill Academy, man, you don't compete, you're going to get dunked on, and not on top of that, there's 200 coaches in the stands watching you. Every Division 1 school in the country's watching all these guys. So
Mm. All right, so moving up to college, you didn't just go crazy in college with a 50-point game. You also broke the college back and the school's college single game 3-point record. What was that feeling?
there's a big story behind this though. So what happened was I had 3 years at IUP. My freshman year, I was a medical redshirt. I broke my ankle and severed all 6 ligaments. So I had big time ankle surgery, and it happened in like the third practice of the year. So did not play one single minute. We were the number one team in the whole entire country. We were the number one seed in the NCAA tournament. COVID hit. So that year was gone. Then I was a redshirt freshman my second year, played very spot minutes. I'm talking like 5, 6, 7 minutes a game, like not a lot. Um, Once again, we won the conference championship, made it to the national Final Four. I got to play on CBS, do a bunch of cool stuff like that with that team. And man, that what was cool about those teams is like, dude, I got a group chat right now. I can literally look at my notifications right now, and somebody from that team has texted in our group chat. Like,
Mm.
we're super tight, and that team was awesome. Third year, same thing. One of the top teams in the country. With COVID year coming, everybody got a year back. I wanted to really be able to show what I had worked on, just all the hard work and stuff. And there was guys, and I was coming off the bench, and I should be coming off the bench. I was not better than Dave Morris. It came from um, Tennessee State, Division 1 point guard, and that's like my big brother still till this day. But he should have been playing in front. I had top players in the country playing in front of me, so I should have. But they were all coming back for another year, and I really wanted to be able to be the guy somewhere. So I ended up transferring back home to Tech. I committed to James Long. James Long ended up getting an awesome opportunity in Charlotte. He ended up leaving. So it wasn't everything I thought it was going to be. I went through that year. I decided I was done. I wanted to train kids, start my own business, all that stuff, bro. So um, I ended up retiring. I had done nothing for 6, 7 months, working a full time job. Um, I was a national sales director for Brian Helton and his trucking company. So I was doing that and I was training kids. I went to see a friend from IUP that lives in Naples, Florida. So I fly there and me and her are watching KJ and Ethan. They were the two freshmen that came in with me. We were all best friends. And me and her were watching IUP on the TV while I was down there. And I look at her and I'm like, man, there is no way I could still be at IUP. Like, that's just so crazy to me. They're still there. I don't know what all happened, but I'm at the airport the next day and Joe Lombardi calls me, which is the head coach at IUP. And he's like, Bryce, we need a shooter. Our team is struggling because we need a shooter. You got an extra year because of COVID. Would you want to come back for a semester and play? And so I go into work the next Monday and I asked Brian Helton to come in and I wanted to talk to him. And man, huge shout out to Brian Helton. He's the only boss in the whole entire country. I'm convinced of this. He's the only boss in the whole entire country that looked me in my eyes, that would look you in your eyes and say, somebody would give their right arm, a kid would give their right arm to be able to play for one of the top teams in the country like that, middle of the year, yada, yada, yada. So, dude, he let me work remote. I had 2 weeks to get ready. So my dad, I stopped going to the office. Man, I start working out 3 times a day, throwing up, losing weight, out of shape. Me and my dad start training 3 times a day. End up going back to IUP for 3 months, and that's when I ended up setting that record. So, dude, it was one of the coolest like comeback stories. I kind of had lost my love for the game of basketball with how everything happened at Tech. So, um, that was God's way of giving me my love back for the game to where I can feed into the youth like I do now, to hundreds and hundreds of kids with my training business and with my AAU organization and stuff. So, and dude, me and Coach Lombardi were so tight. And um, like 3 weeks before all that happened, I had sent him a picture, and it was of the Bible that he got me. And I was like, man, we won a lot of rings, but there's actually a documentary on it. Somebody came in and did a documentary on it, but I sent him a text, and I was just like, we got a lot of rings and a lot of wins, but this right here means more than anything to me, and because he had wrote a little note in my Bible that I read every day. So. Me and him stayed tight. We just had that connection, man. It was much bigger than basketball, and it was one of the most memorable, probably the most memorable thing of my whole entire career as far as playing was.
That's tough. I ain't gonna lie, that's insane. You did 3 a day workouts just to get back to IUP.
Yeah, because he called me and I knew I was going to be playing a lot and all this stuff. And my first game back was literally the most miserable game of my life, man. I had 0 points, I had 4 fouls, probably had 5, 6 turnovers. My body went into a full body cramp. I had to get IVs, and I was just like, I'll never forget that bus ride back. Not UP, you get treated like kings, bro. So we're in like a super nice charter bus and all this stuff, and I'm sitting there, and I call my parents. I'm halfway crying, and I'm like, I don't know if I made the right decision. Like, I don't know. And they're just like, keep praying about it. Like, there's a reason why all this happened. Next game, I tied the record. I had tied Dante Lombardi's record, which is Coach Lombardi's son. He was the point guard there before I committed in 2019. And that was a cool thing too, man. I talked to Dante. I was coming home from our AAU tournament. Me and Dante talked on the phone for over an hour and a half. He's like a big brother, mentor to me. And so I tied his record. And then 3 games later, I ended up breaking it.
That's insane. Uh, so what was it like breaking so many records from high school to college?
Um, man, it was cool. I don't look at it like that. It was just like I don't even know how to explain it, bro. Like it was cool. I don't I like to win, man. So breaking records and winning is great. The 50-point game was freaking awesome. Like that was just a freak thing. I tell everybody if that would have happened in somewhere other than Southern West Virginia, it'd been on Sports Center.
Yeah, for sure it would have.
So, so like that one was especially cool one. The IUP one was especially a cool one for me mentally because that was like I feel like it was God's way of showing like, man, this is exactly where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and with how my relationship with him was. at that moment in time, it really allowed me to use that platform to put that out there. And like Sports Spectrum, they got thousands on top of thousands of followers on Twitter. They had called me and did a big story on me and Coach Lombardi. Um, there was a big video documentary thing that the whole entire school did that went completely viral and got over like 100,000, like all this stuff. Like it was super cool. So, the IUP record though, that means the world to me because those are my like that's my home away from home. I can get in my car right now and go to IUP and it feels like home. So, it was cool, man. It was a blessing.
That's tough. All right, so playing for IUP, what was that? What was it like playing at that next level?
Dude, it was the best decision I've ever made. There's 13,000 kids that go there. I think it's a little less now, but it was a big enough Division two. It's a very large Division two school. Most of your low major Division ones have less attendance than that. So what was cool about IUP was it's always big enough to where you meet somebody new, but it's always small enough to where you know somebody. And also, I think our combined record the first 3 years I was there was like 98 and four or something like that. Like we were so good and we were so good and the basketball team got treated like kings. You don't wait in lines, you don't do any of that stuff downtown, like that kind of stuff. So like, and then Joe Lombardi, man, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Fame coach. Like he's literally in the Hall of Fame, and the way that he pushes you to not just be a better basketball player, but to be a better young man, and teaches you. It's funny because now I'm in his position, not obviously to that extent, but you know how it is when you're a kid and your coach is preaching at you about your body language and all this stuff, and your immediate response is always like, "Man, coach is tripping. Coach is tripping."
Yeah,
And that's exactly what all of us thought. And it's cool. I told you we talk all the time, and now all of us talk. We're in the real world. We're working. We're doing this stuff, and we all look at each other. We're like, "Man, coach was right. Coach was right." So like just to have somebody instill not just like insane basketball habits um that you take with you to teach other kids and to go to other schools and play or anything like that. Man, Coach Lombardi taught you what it was like to be in the real world, to be a man, to take care of your family, to lead with faith, and how to lead your wife and your kids and all that stuff. Like we got to see that from him daily with how he went about his life and stuff, and that's what I took so big from IUP. And I talked to Joe Lombardi probably a week ago on the phone. The way he just communicates with all of his ex players and all that stuff, man. It was a blessing to be able to play for Joe Lombardi, man. He's one of the greatest, in my opinion. So,
that's what's up. I ain't gonna. So, in your opinion, what is the biggest difference between playing college basketball and playing high school?
biggest difference between playing college and high school, I'm gonna say the speed of the game and the physicality of the game. And the biggest thing that I took from it was everybody has different pace. And in Beckley, West Virginia, and Southern West Virginia, if you are talented in school and like in basketball, you don't have to change your pace. You don't have to do anything. You can just go 120% all the time, fast, 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 and it works around here. You get to college at a big time level like that. My first ever college game was against Illinois in front of 16,000 people, sold out arena, and they had Kofi Cockburn. They had all them guys that had just made it to the Elite Eight, I believe, and won the conference championship in the Big Ten. So, like, you get against those guys, they're coming off the screen and they're holding you on their hip and they're using their eyes to deceive and all that kind of stuff. And then you're making your hook passes, which is one thing when you're making it against a 5'10" athletic guy from West Virginia. It's a different thing when the guy guarding you off that screen, 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot, 215 pounds, 220 pounds. That's a big, big time difference. So I would definitely say the pace of the game and just the physicality in general. The college game is just insane that people who haven't been there and haven't played that has no earthly idea how physical the college game is.
Man, that's insane. So, so talking about you making an AAU team and training, what gave you that idea and like that step of faith, kind of?
Um, Man, I owe it all back to my dad, and obviously my mom too. My dad was my trainer, and the way that he went about, um, it's a lot like how I talk about Joe. Obviously, this is my actual dad, and I look at Coach Lombardi like a dad too. And the way my dad went about everything when I was younger is he worked from home. He worked for the federal government. So it was just like I seen him how hard he worked for our family to provide that kind of thing. But he also, as soon as he was done working, he was studying basketball because he knew I wanted to be good, what to do with me in training sessions, like all that kind of stuff. So, um, man, he's my biggest inspiration. And like even now, like bro, we went to our first tournament fully sponsored by Under Armour and um, seeing hundreds and hundreds of kids with my name on their chest, parents with shirts, hats, shorts, like Under Armour this, Under Armour that. Like, man, it was so cool. And like seeing him get to be there and like smile and get to do it with me. Like, dude, he's the OG, man. He started all of it. So definitely my dad. And then when I got to college, I had some really good trainers. In high school, I trained with Mark Adams. He was Brandon Ingram's trainer. He was in Cary, North Carolina. I would travel to him once a week. He was a big inspiration for me. And then the assistant coach my freshman year at IUP was Sham God, God Sham God Jr. So
That's tough.
the one that from New York, like his dad's the one that created the move, sponsored by Puma, assistant coach for the Dallas Mavs. Now the one that coached me, he's the player development coach up there with Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics. But being able to be trained by him, like such a good point guard that has been around basketball his whole life. Like obviously his dad's like legendary in New York and worldwide, so he was a big inspiration as well.
That's tough. So, what is your favorite part of being a coach slash trainer?
Favorite part of being coach slash trainer, I would definitely say the relationships you have with these kids, man. I got like some of the relationships I have with the kids, dude. There is nothing like I get to see those kids every single day, and bad days, good days. They make me laugh. Like they brighten my day. And just being able to be a role model for them that I necessarily, my dad was that, but at that age, you don't listen to your dad. You just don't. Any
Yeah,
kid that age, like I could say the same thing as your mom and dad, you're going to receive it better from me.
yeah,
That's just how it is. That's how I was at that age too. And just being able to pour into these kids and make them realize like not all you guys are going to play college basketball. Not all you guys are going to play professional. Not any of that. But what I tell everybody, the lessons that you learn in that 94 feet are lessons you can take to your 9 to 5 job, lessons you can take in your relationship with your wife or husband one day, um, relationships you can take with your teacher, with your family, with everything. And that's my favorite part about it is you're not teaching these kids just how to be good basketball players and how to shoot a basketball. You're teaching them how to be young men and treat everybody around them with respect and the right way. And hopefully they see that out of me. So that's definitely my favorite part.
all right. So looking back at it, it's you just started your AAU team 2 years ago. How did it become so successful so fast? Like, what was the secret to that?
So my dad started it when I was in college. So that's how it really got started. They were the West Virginia Impact when I was in college. Then they moved to Team Loaded West Virginia. And then I started coaching them. I coached them once, one summer as under Team Loaded. Then I got my business and everything. Basketball world's a small world, man. So people from the outside want to say like, well, you put your name on it for clout and all that stuff. And listen, I've got enough clout. I don't need no more. Like I don't need no more. And I'm not saying that in an arrogant way. Like I don't need any more. I'm good. I'm good with that. But the basketball world is a small world. So the reason why I put my name on it is because I'm very tied in the Division II world and a lot with the Division I coaches where I went to Oak Hill Academy and got to meet all these guys and do that stuff. And with the NIL and the transfer portal, it's all about who you know. That's
Yeah.
how kids get recruited is their coach knows people. So I put my name on it so coaches would see that and be like, oh, I remember him. He played here. I got to talk to him there, or that kind of thing. So it makes them remember who you are and kind of spark that interest. So I did it as a big thing to just like help those kids get recruited. Basketball world's a small world, so everybody knows everybody kind of. So that was what went behind it.
So giving that spotlight to the kids, what gave you that courage to step out on faith like that? To like be like, I'm done here. I'm done with my job, but I'm going out. You know what I mean?
Um, Man, I truly believe that God put me on this earth to pour into the youth. Like it comes so easy to me. It just comes so easy to me to teach the game of basketball and to try to teach them the game of life and just things like that. Like it's just what like I lay my head down at night and like man, I'm so thankful for being able to just get to do that every day. Like it's still that gym's almost been open. My business has almost been open for a year, and I still lay my head down and I'm just like, dang, like I really get that. That's really my job. So um, just having that faith in the back of my head that like you're on this earth to be able to pour into these kids, like that's why no sponsorship or no tournament or no win, no loss is too big or too small. Like it's just you got to stay even kill and keep grinding and keep pushing and pushing and pushing because if you're doing it the right way, God's going to keep giving you a bigger platform to just keep going, keep going, keep going. And I'm living proof of that. I think that's what He's done with me. So.
All right. Unfortunately, this is all the time we have today. Thank you, Bryce.
Absolutely, brother.
Uh,
Anytime, man. Anytime.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So make sure y'all stay wired and y'all go show some my boy Bryce some love down there in the comment section. And Bryce, keep doing what you're doing, man. Congratulations on all this success.
Absolutely, bro. I appreciate you, bro. Keep going with your podcast, man. Listen, if I can leave you with one thing, because I see the little thing up there, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. If you're trying to do something, you're trying to start something, people are gonna laugh, people are gonna think it's stupid, people are gonna do this, do that. Keep your head down and keep grinding, bro, because there's not a lot of people around here that will just keep grinding and keep grinding and keep grinding. That's how I've got everything that I've got. And it's been the biggest blessing. And my mom told me one time, if you ain't got haters, you ain't popping. And listen, brother, I know like I get an outpouring of support and love from a lot of people. Bro, I get a lot of hate. I get a lot of hate. I can go on Twitter right or and Facebook right now, show you parents and all this stuff of just people hating. They're hating on you because they want to do what you're doing. All right, remember that. Take that. Don't forget it. Sleep on it. And if you ever have any doubt, remember that, bro.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a good night, man.
Yes, sir, brother. You too.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.